Hello everyone, welcome back to the Laravel API Master Series. So in this playlist, we will build production ready REST API from scratch. So in today's video, we will learn what is API, install Laravel with Sanctum, and login register and logout API with Sanctum Authentication, and migration models, resource controller, Cedar factory, and also CRUD API like get, post, put, delete API, and pagination and search and filter. So you will learn this topic and explained step by step with practical example. So let's get started. First of all, we need to know what is API. API full form is application program interface. So it's just like a bridge between our website and our database. So suppose you have a Laravel website and you have a database, maybe MySQL, maybe MongoDB, PostgreSQL, any types of database. If you want to communicate with the database, so you need a backend language like Laravel is in PHP, Java, Go, and .NET, something like that, backend programming language. You have a website, you have a Android, and you have a iPhone. So Android is developed in Java or Kotlin, and iPhone is in Swift language. So these languages can't communicate with database. So we need a API. API is just like a bridge of our application. So if is required to communicate with database, so first of all it is going to API, and then API is communicate with database. You can say API is just like a bridge between a front-end language or front-end technology and our database. In this video, we are going to backend language as Laravel. So Laravel will create an API and send the response in JSON, XML, and GraphQL. So today in this video, we are just going to send the API response in JSON. So JSON is very widely used. So this response, if you are using in Android, so Android also can use it JSON format data in our application to insert data, update data, and if you want to show any user information data. So JSON is compatible with Swift, Java, Kotlin, and any other front-end language. If your website is in React, Angular, so in React, Angular also you can use JSON data, and you can show the information of user if you want to update any record into database. So you need to just call the API, and API will insert the data into database. In this project, we are going to create register and login, and also going to create a token-based authentication system in Sanctum, and also CRUD API with pagination and search. And we are going to validate the data, and our response will be clean and readable format. If I talking about the tech stack, so tech stack is Laravel 12 and Laravel Sanctum for authentication, MySQL for database, and JSON for a REST API response. So in this video, we will cover, first of all, create Laravel project and setup, and installation of Sanctum and configuration. Then we are going to create a task manager API. So we will create a task module, and also create a migration file for that, and also we will create a Cedar also. That will create a dummy data into our database. All system are automated. So authentication, register and login authentication API we will create, and also create task controller where we will create CRUD and pagination search, and also API route, and all the API we will test in Postman. This video will be very interesting. By end of this series, you will learn how to create a RESTful API in Laravel with the help of Sanctum authentication. Now we are going to in VS Code and install the Laravel project into our local system. So now we are going to install our Laravel project. So Laravel new, and the folder name Task Manager API. So Laravel application will be installed inside this folder. So you can see Laravel application is installing in my local system. So if you want to install, so you can follow the same step, same command in your local machine. I think it will take 1 to 2 minutes to install in our local system. So So now you can see the Laravel application is installed in our local system. So first of all, we need to go to that folder, task manager API. Now if you want to see the everything is okay or not, so just write the command php artisan serve. It will run your Laravel application in local. So if you want to see your Laravel application is working, is successfully installed or not, so you need to just click on this link, or otherwise you can write this URL in your browser. So if you want to run the application in your browser, so just press Ctrl and click on this URL. So you can see the URL is open in your browser. You can see this is by default Laravel index page. Next step will be we are going to install the Sanctum package. In our CMD, we need to write composer require Laravel /Sanctum. So this command will install the Sanctum package in your Laravel system. So you can see installation process is started. Laravel Sanctum package is installed in our system. Now we are just going to open this project in our VS Code. So for this you need to write code dot. So it will open project into VS Code. So you can see your Task Manager API project is now open in VS Code. So if you want to check Laravel Sanctum package is installed or not, so just you need to go to composer.json. And you can see here all the information regarding your project. Laravel framework is 12 and package is 4.2. Laravel Sanctum package. Need to publish the Sanctum configuration. So for this, we need to write PHP artisan vendor publish publish and space -- provider inside double quotes. We need to write this Laravel /Sanctum /Sanctum service provider. Okay, so now you need to hit the enter button. So it will be successfully published. You can see it's done. It is configured in your Laravel project Sanctum package. And after this, you need to write the migration. But before the migration, you need to set the env file. So if you are using MySQL, so you need to change this connection as MySQL and also change this also. So your database name will be Task Manager API. Now if you are going to hit the PHP migration, PHP artisan migrate. So it will create a database and table, default table, everything in your local MySQL database. So now you can see there is no database with this name Task Manager API. But after when I run this command, then it will create automatically. So you can see it's asking would you like to create this database, because this database is also not created in our local. So it will create database also and then table also. You can see migration creating user table, cache, job, and this one create personal access token. Personal access token will be very useful for Sanctum package. Without this table, you can't do anything in Sanctum. We are just going to PHP myadmin. So when I'm going to refresh it, you can see the database is created. So you can see by default table is also created. You can see, so it's approx 10 tables is created. You can see this one personal access token. So when we are going to start a session for any user login, so Sanctum token ID, token type, and every data is updated in this DB. So in coming video we will see that. So we can create it manually, we can create a file api.php and we are just going to just copy paste this if you want. So and we need to add the Sanctum in our user model. So we need to just go to inside model folder, inside user. We need to use that this one use Laravel Sanctum has API token. Okay, and now we have to use that has factory. So before that, we can write this has API token. Also, we need to add this inside the API, and also one more configuration we need to do that. Inside the config, it's auth. Inside the auth, we need to write the API configuration also. Inside guards, we need to create a driver. Driver name will be Sanctum and provider will be users. Okay, so we need to add this middleware Sanctum. Okay, so we need to write here middleware, or inside this middleware we need to hit authentication auth Sanctum, and after this you can write this get method, get method for the by default controller. So it will be in single quotes. Okay, so now everything is okay. Configure the database and created the database, and also created one file for API. So we are just going to write all the API route inside this file, and also install the Sanctum package, and also add the Sanctum package into our route. Mostly Laravel developer can build CRUD application, but when we are talking about API authentication, so the application is breaking. In this video, I will show you how to build secure login registration logout API using Laravel Sanctum with the right way. This is my second video of Laravel CRUD API. In previous video, I have done Laravel installation and project setup with this Sanctum authentication package. If you don't know how to install Laravel and Sanctum, so just go to my video part 1 where you can learn how to install and set up the project. So let's go. In this video, we are going to see first of all registered API, login API, logout with the Sanctum authentication and token revoke also. And end of this video, we will see Postman testing. So by end of this video, you will understand exactly how Sanctum works internally and how token are generated and how to test everything using Postman like a real production API. So let's go in VS Code and we will see all the steps to create login registration and logout API. So this is my VS Code editor. Now I am going to create login and register route and also a auth controller where we will write the login registration function. Open terminal, and in terminal create a auth controller. So PHP partition make controller API slash auth controller. Sorry, there is some spelling mistake. So you can see it's partition ARTI. So now it will run. So you can see my auth controller is created successfully. And when you are going to this HTTP folder, so you can see there is API folder, or inside the API folder auth controller. Okay, so inside the auth controller we will create 3 functions: login, registration and logout. Public function register. So this is my first function, and I'm just doing copy paste for second function also and for third function also. So this is register, second one is login, second one is login, and third one is logout. Okay, so I have 3 functions, and now I have to create API for this function also. So I'm just going to create API. So in API .php, a route for route and method will be post, or inside this I'm just going to create a register, and inside this I'm going to auth controller. So auth controller is automatically included in this header of this file. Okay, so it will be in single quotes, that's why it's giving error. Okay, and there will be a 2 column sign. So now it's okay. Now our registration API is ready. So I'm just going to create another one for login.
and this will be login. So if you want to test this, this API is working or not, so you need to just write, some small text inside this. You can just write registration route. Now I'm going to test it in our Postman. So if you want to run your API inside this local, so first of all you need to run your server. So I'm just going to write PHP artisan server. Okay. So now my server is running. So you can see now I'm going to hit my API. So it's 127, and inside API I'm just going to write register. This one register. So when, and method is post. So when I am going to hit this send, okay, so not found, it's showing. So my API is giving 404 error. So we just need to check in our app.php inside this bootstrap folder. So inside this bootstrap folder, we need to add API also. So I'm just going to write here API underscore dir underscore dot route path. Okay. So now it's perfect. I think error will be resolved. So just going to Postman and I'm just going to hit this send button. So now it's okay. Connection is refusing because we are not started the server. So PHP artisan serve. Now hit enter, and now I'm going to check this. So you can see it's giving error middleware. So I'm just going to comment this, and again I want to run this. Okay. So now everything is okay. I'm just going to click on this send. So you can see registration route. So I think spelling is wrong, but no problem. We are just testing. So you can write echo test and routing. So our routing is running perfectly. Now write the code inside this registration. So for the user input validation, just write request $request and validate. I'm going to use this function validate, and inside this, inside the array name will be required, and it will be a string. Okay. Second will be email, and it will be required, and inside this I'm just going to check also the email ID will be unique because every user have unique email ID, and the table will be users. Okay. So next will be password. Required a string, and we can set the minimum password. It will be 6. So I'm just going to write this 6. So now everything is okay. So if the user is not entering the name, email ID and password, so I'm just set the validation for this name required, email ID will be required, and email ID will be unique in the user table, and the password also will be required and minimum 6 character. So now I am going to store this user data. Now I'm going to insert this. If the validation is everything is correct, then I am going to insert this user data inside the user table. So I'm just going to write user create function, and inside this I'm just going to pass the array, which will be like name. So name will be $request name, use app models user. So that's why it's giving error. User going to add the user name and email. So I'm just going to write request and email. Okay, and then password, request dollar password. So in password, we are just going to use bcrypt. Okay, data will be inserted into our users table. So if the everything is correct, so it's, you can say, I'm just sending response JSON user detail, status will be 201, and message will be user registered successfully. Okay, so it's giving error because this is a function inside this. So now we can check this, the response, this API is working fine or not. So I'm just going to write this in my postman. So just we need to write this name. Inside name, I'm just going to write Nitish, and email will be nitish@gmail.com, and password will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, I'm going to hit this API. So it's giving 500 internal server error. And what is this error? So you can see no connection could be because MySQL host. Okay, so we need to check this. Okay, so my jump is not started. So I'm just going to start the jump. Okay, so my database is Task Manager API. So I'm just going to open this user table. Now I'm going to hit this again. So you can see data is inserted successfully, and now I'm going to uh, refresh this. So you can see it is nitish@gmail.com, and password is already inserted, but our token is not creating, and we don't have any this personal access token. Okay, so now registration API is working perfectly. Now I'm going to create the login API. Write this. First of all, need to validate the input from the user. So just we are going to use this validate function or inside this. So I'm just going to write email and password, where I'm going to validate it. So for the email ID, it's required, and next will be password. Password will be required. Now I'm going to check this email ID and password is in your database or not, and then if the database, if the email ID and password is matching in our database table, then it will be successful login. Otherwise, we will give error. So for this, I'm just going to write a if statement. Inside this, I'm just going to write auth attempt. I'm just going to write request on the basis of email ID and password. I'm going to check this request only. Two things, email, password. So there is reclosing. So inside this, first of all, we need to add the auth. We need to use this Illuminate support asserts and auth. So it's in a built-in Laravel built-in authentication system auth attempt. So I am going to use this. It's not user, use. So inside this, if the email ID and password is authentication is successful, then I am going to log in the user. Otherwise, I will throw error. Response JSON invalid credential 401. Okay, so if the user is not correct, the user email ID and password, so we will just throw the error invalid credential 401. And then if the user is correct, then I am going to create a token. So it will be $token is equal to auth user create token API token, then text token. So this create token is undefined method. So for this, we need to create a user where. So I'm just going to into our database, and I'm just fetching the details of the user from the database. Request email. Okay. So now inside the dollar user variable, I have the user details. So now I'm going to remove this auth user using this user create token. This will be user model. Okay. So now it is correct. So when the user is correct, so I'm just want to create a token, and then this token will be sent as a response. Return response inside the response method JSON. Inside this JSON array, user data, user dollar user, and token will be token dollar token, and message will be logged in and user logged in successfully. This message will be sent inside the response. So now I'm just going to check this. If you want to check this login route, so first of all we need to change this. I'm going to copy this, and I am going to create a fresh API for this. So just remove this login, and this will be post, and it's inside this form data. I'm just going to send email and password. Email will be nitish@gmail.com. Our password will be 1234567. So I'm just going to hit this API. So there is one thing missing, and because it's not returning a model data, so that's why we need to use this first. Now I think everything is okay. So just go to end and click on this API. So if everything is okay, then okay. So user login is successful. So you can see user login is successful and token is also created. Okay. So now login is working. Next will be I'm going to create logout. But before this, if you want to check the login is working perfectly or not, so I'm just going to use this middleware. Suppose user detail API. So I'm just returning simple echo. This is user detail API, user details API. Okay. If I will just add this token in inside the authorization. Inside the authorization, you can see bearer token. So need to add. If I add this, then I can use this API, this user detail, because I have already added the auth Sanctum. I'm going to change this. So I'm using the group middleware, and inside this I am going to create inside the group. You have to write function, and you have to remove this, and inside this I'm just going to create a route. Suppose a user details, and inside this I'm just going to write this. Okay. So just click on this plus button, copy paste this URL URL is user detail, user detail, user details or detail. Let's check details. So when I'm going to click on this without the authentication, so it will okay, so this is post now, so need to change this get. Now 1 2 3. Okay, login not defined. So this is the error because you don't have added the bearer token. So you need to choose this option in authorization, bearer token, and just go to your login API, copy this section, copy this. So I'm just copy this token, and now go to this user detail, and now you can send this. So now you can see this API is user detail API is you can access now, but without this token you can't access this token. Now the time we need to create a logout function inside the auth controller. So you can see here also, and if any user is trying to log in, so it will be create a new record inside the table, and the token is here. Every login request when a user is going to log in, so the record email ID and password is checked in user table. If the record is in user table, then it will create a token, and the token and the, everything is inserted inside this personal access token. So this is the process of Sanctum authentication, or this token is required whenever the user is want to log in. Okay, so you can see it has also expired at so if you want to expire this token, so you can mention the time and all that. So in coming videos we will cover that. So we need to create the logout API. Inside the logout API we are just going to remove this token from the database. So we will do this. I'm going to delete this token if the logout API is hitting, then request user delete after user I'm using token, and after this we are using delete. Okay, so if this request is successful, if the token is deleted successful, then I am going to return a message, response JSON and inside this I'm just sending a message logged out successfully. Okay, okay, for this we need to create in route also. Create a route, and this logout route will be inside our authentication Sanctum authentication middleware inside this, and inside this I'm just going to copy this one. Only we need to change function name logout. Okay, so now I have to we need to check this. So just copy this URL and open a new tab, and just going to paste it and change this route name logout, and we need to token also. So I need to copy this and you want to hit this. So if you're going to hit this, if the token is deleted successfully, then you will get a message, otherwise you will get error. So bad method call user token model. Okay, so there is I think mistake. There is it should be tokens, not token. So again, if you are going to try this, okay, you can see logged out successfully. So if you are going to again you are going to use this user detail, so it will give error, not you are going to. So you can see route found exception. So in next video we will handle this error also. Again, if you are going to check this, so just click on login. You are going to login, and if you want to access that, again the same process. Again, if you want to access that, so you need to change this token. To change this token, now you are able to access that API. You can see this user details API, and if you want to log it that, so you need to pass this token inside the logout API. So you can see the logout API is logged out, and you can see here also login registration and logout here is no record with this authentication confirm that particular authentication. So in next video we will build a complete CRUD REST API for task manager application, and we will protect it using Sanctum middleware, and make sure you will watch the next part also, because this is where the real project starts. So if you are serious about mastering Laravel API, subscribe to our channel and complete real world REST API series. In previous video, we only worked with user table for authentication, but authentication alone does not build an application. So in this episode, we will design the code table of our task manager application, the task table. You will learn how to create proper migration and eloquent models that will use to build our full CRUD API in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Start Coding Class. So today we will learn about migration and model for task table. So let's go in VS Code, and we will learn how to create with the help of command line. We will create migration also, and we will create model also. So in previous video, you can see I have created login, registration and logout with the Sanctum authentication. So you can see logout inside the Sanctum authentication middleware, and login and registration outside this authentication, because login and registration don't require authentication. Okay, so let's start. If you want to create the migration and model, so there is one command, only one command. You do not need to run separate command for migration and models. There is a one single command that can generate migration and model file. So I'm just going to write PHP artisan make model and model name task or M for migration. This command will create two files, one model file and one migration file. So I am just going to hit the enter button. So there is some spelling mistake. Artisan spelling is not M, it's N. So again, I am just going to run this. So you can see inside the model task.php, and inside the migration there is a create task table.php. So two files are created with the same command. So I'm going to show you one by one both files. So need to just go to inside the models. You can see this one. This is one file, task.php. This is model file, and second one is inside database. There is a migration folder, or inside this you can see this one, create task underscore table. I think if you don't know what is migration, so a migration is just like a blueprint of our database. So I'm just going to brief you. So in short, migration in Laravel is a just like a version control way to create and modify database tables using PHP code instead of writing raw SQL. So previously, if you have used core PHP, so core PHP, you are just going to PHP myadmin and you are just create the database, or you are writing some MySQL command to create the tables. But in Laravel, this is very organized. So it's simple. We are just creating a migration file where it's going to write the table column name, table data type, everything. We are just going to define it. You can see this is the create function where the table name is already there, and tasks name, table name is already there, and default one ID and one timestamp is there. If you want to add more columns, so you can write here, and after then you have to run php artisan migrate. So this command will create a table. In task table, I am going to write the title, description. In the task table, there will be column name like ID, title, task description and task status like completed or pending, something like that. I am going to add that also. And when this is finished, then I am going to run PHP artisan migrate, and this will create table in the task manager API. So you can see no task table inside this database. But when we, after finishing this migration and when we run PHP artisan migrate, so it will automatically create table into our database, this task manager API. So let's go add other table, other column name also. Different task is related to different user. So this table also we will store user ID also. That user ID is foreign key of user table. So in this table, we are going to create a foreign key, foreign ID, user underscore ID, and constant on delete cascade. This foreign key, spelling mistake is there. Foreign key is from user table, and on delete cascade means if the any user is deleted from user table, so all the record from task table also be deleted. Okay, add one more column, table. This will be a string, title, and next will be description. Data type is text, and it will be nullable. So nullable means it can be empty. And the next column will be, there is one completed, true or false, something like that. So it will be boolean. Column name is completed, and by default I am going to set the value as false. So I think we have added all the column. Now everything is done. One more time I am just going to show you. There is no table name task in our database, but when I am going to run PHP artisan migrate, then it will be create the migration this task table. So I'm just going to hit the enter, 1 2 3. So you can see the migration is running and task table migration is done. You can see the task table is done, and all the columns, ID, user ID, title, description, completed, created and updated is by default. So it all is completed here. Migration task is done. Now we are going to do some configuration inside the this task model protected, to define the column which we have created here, ID, user ID, title, description. So if you want to insert the data, so you need to define here. If you do not define here, so you cannot insert the data into table. So you need to write protected $fillable. So inside the single quotes, you need to write user ID, and then you need to write title. So in single quotes again, title, and description also. So I'm just going to write here description, and completed also. So now you can insert the data. This data can be filled. So if you remove, suppose if you have you remove user ID inside this, and if you want to insert the value in user ID, so it will be restrict. You can't insert the data in user ID column. So if you want to add some data in any column, so you need to write here. So now migration and models are just the foundation. In the next video, you will use the same task table to build CRUD REST API using Laravel resource controller. So follow proper REST standard to create a REST API. So if you are following the Laravel REST API series seriously, do not skip the next video, because that is where our task manager API actually start working. Because in next video, we are going to create resource controller, or inside that resource controller, we are going to create get, insert data, update data, delete data, and create data. So must watch the next video. So make sure the authentication and migration and model is just the intricate CRUD API where real application are building. So if this video is helpful for you, so please like this video and subscribe the channel and share with your friends and hit the bell icon to get latest updated video from my YouTube channel Start Coding Class. Keep learning and keep watching my YouTube video. You have already created migrations and models, but if you keep writing CRUD logic manually, so your API code will become messy. So in this video, I will show you Laravel Resource Controller, the cleanest and the most professional way to build CRUD REST API. By the end of this video, you will understand how Laravel generates ready-made CRUD methods for your API, just like a real production project. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Start Coding Class. This is fourth video of my Laravel REST API series. In the previous video, we created database migration, Eloquent models and prepare the task model for our task manager API. So now it's time to connect everything together using resource controller. So let's go and see what we will cover in this video. So in this video, we are going to cover, first of all, we will know what is resource controller and how to create resource controller with the help of command line, and then we will write the routes for that resource controller, and then at the end of this video we will test all the API in Postman. What is resource controller? So resource controller in Laravel is a controller that comes with predefined CRUD method. If you are not using resource controller, then you have to write all the API like create, read, update, delete separately. So you have to write 4 routes. But if you are using resource controller, then you have to write only one route, and that one route will work for all 4 routes. So instead of manually creating a store, index, update, restore, all, so Laravel gives you all them automatically with the help of resource controller. Index is related to get all tasks. A store is related to create tasks. So single task and update task, and destroy is delete task. So you can say the API which is created with the help of resource controller is very clean and consistent and easy to maintain. So there is no lots of API, 4-5 API. Only we have to create one API. If we are talking about the command how to create resource controller, so in CMD you have to write PHP artisan make controller API. API is our folder name. So inside, if you do not want to use API, so you can remove that API slash. You can write only task controller and hyphen API. So and when you hit the enter, your API resource controller API is ready. So if you are talking about the routes, so in routes, route colon API resource, inside that you have to this tasks is route name, and task controller class is your task controller class name. So now it's time to go to VS Code and let's start how to create resource controller in real project in VS Code. So this is my VS Code. In CMD, I'm just going to write the command PHP partition make controller inside API. I want to create this. So it's task controller hyphen API. If I check in our API, you can say in API, there is only one controller, auth controller, which we have previously created for login and registration. You can see. Okay, now let's go hit the enter button. Inside the controller API, task controller is created, and you can also see here inside the API task controller is created. So if you are creating a normal controller, so there is only controller class name. But if you are creating resource controller, so there is a function called index, a store, so and update and try for delete. So all these functions are automatically generated because this is resource controller. So it's time to create API for this resource controller. I'm just going to api.php or inside this middleware Sanctum. So it's route and API resource, and inside this going to write tasks, and the second parameter will be controller name task controller colon class. Okay, so my API is now ready. So you can see this task controller API is already included in header. If in your VS Code it is not included automatically, then you have to write manually this thing. This is the route for resource controller. So only this single route will create all the API, get, insert, update, delete, all the API only with the help of single. So in normally if you are creating the insert data, update data, delete data, so you have to create the different routes in the API resource controller. So we are just going to create only one route, and this controller, task controller, will automatically create the all the functions: index, store, show, update, destroy, all the methods. So now we have to check this API is working or not in Postman. So I'm just going to a simple return response for testing purpose only. It's working or not. So I'm just going to show you inside this JSON only one message, and inside this this is resource. This is resource controller index function. Okay, for that going to Postman, you need to start the server PHP artisan serve. Okay, so now your server is started, this Postman. So inside this I'm going to hit this tasks. Okay, so when you hit this task, so you will see, so you can see this is due to because Sanctum Authentication is working. So you need to in authorization you need to add bearer token. So if you do not want to do that, so you need to just define this route outside this middleware or Sanctum. Okay, so now if I am going to hit this, so it will show this is resource controller index function. Okay, we have checked that this API index. So in store we are just going to check this one also. So store is for if you want to insert any record. So I'm just going to write here a store function to add new data. If you want to add any record, so this function will use for this. The API will be method will be post, and the route will be same. So when I'm going to hit this, you can see this API is calling. In this condition also, there is no changing an API, only single API giving two response, this index and this one create. We are going to change this method. In first case, if you want to record, want to call this index, so you need to change the method get, and if you want to create the record, so you need to change the post. So if I am going to check another API like update, so in this case, I'm just going to change the message, so you can identify which function is calling to update record, update data. Okay, so for this, then nothing will be changed. Only we need to change the method put, and you need to pass the ID. So if you want to update the record, ID is 10. So just I'm going to hit this. So you can see the message is resource controller update function to update data. Whatever we have written here is showing. In the same way, if you want to check this delete data, so I'm just going to change this delete destroy function to delete data. Okay, so in this case also we need to change the method as delete, and ID will be 10. So just yes, so you can see delete data. So the route we have used all the API 4-5 API, but there is no changing in API. Only the single API we can use in all these API insert, update, delete. So the last one I can see there is this. So write an API if you want to for any particular user ID. So I'm just going to check this one also. So function to fetch single user data. Fetch single user data. So if you want to get the data from the database, if you have any user ID, so you can use that this one function. So for this route will be get and the API with ID. So when I am going to click this, you can see fetch single user data. So with one single line, Laravel automatically create this get task, post task, put task, delete task, and so task. This is why resource controller are loved in real project. Because this is a task manager API, all these routes will be protected using Sanctum. Only authenticated user can create, update, and delete task. So in next video, we will cover one by one how to get a record from database, how to post data into record into our database, insert data into our database, and update, and all the methods we are cover in next video. So if this video is helpful to understand resource controller, don't forget to like this video and subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to get latest updated video from my channel. Till then, take care. Bye.
Manually inserting data into the database again and again is boring. What if Laravel could generate thousands of API records automatically? So in this video, I will show you how to use seeder and factory in Laravel the right way. So hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Start Coding Class. So this is my fifth episode of Laravel REST API series. In the previous video, we have created API and controllers, resource controller. So now this time to learn how to populate our database automatically using seeder and factory. By end of this video, you will clearly understand what is seeder, what is factory, and when and why to use them. Or we will see live coding in VS Code also. So let's go. First we see what is seeder. Seeder is used to insert predefined or sample data into database. So if you want to insert some random data into your database, so you can use seeder. To add default data like admin, user, role, category, or insert demo data and avoid manually inserting record again and again. So if you are not using Laravel seeder, you will go to admin panel and then one by one you will insert the record. So this is not the correct way. So correct way is you need to create a seeder in Laravel. The command for the seeder creation is php artisan make seeder and whatever the name you want, user seeder, admin seeder, whatever you want. So you can write here user seeder in the place of user seeder. So when we are going to hit this command in our CMD command prompt, so this will generate a file called user seeder with this structure. So you can write there if you want in user table name, admin, email ID, admin@example.com, password is password. So you need to write here admin@example, admin and password. Okay, and then you have to write this command php artisan db seed hyphen class and user seeder, and then you hit the enter button. The data is inserted into our database. So you can see if you run this query php artisan db seed hyphen class and user seeder, so it will create only one record because inside this user create there is one array. Inside that name is admin, email is admin@example.com, password is password. Okay, so this will create when you hit this command php artisan db seed hyphen class and user seeder. So this will create only one record. So if you want multiple records, then you have to this array multiple times you have to write. Again, you have to write name, email, password, and all that. So it's very boring and it's time taking. To fix this problem, you need to factor in. You need to use factory in Laravel. So it will create 50 records, 100 records, 1000 records, 5000 records, whatever you want, it will create. So let's go. Factory is used to generate fake or random data using the faker library. With the help of faker library, it will create random data. Why we use these factories? To generate large amount of data, because you can see in previous seeder is only for a small amount of data. You can 5 record, 10 record, but if you want to 50 records or 100 records and 1000 records, so it is not possible with the help of seeder because you have to enter the value manually. So if you want to create factory in Laravel, so you need to write in your command prompt php artisan make factory user factory. So it will create a file inside the database, inside the factories. So you can see database inside factories folder. This will create user factory.php where the code is something like this: return name,
and $this faker name, email, $this faker unique safe email, and password is bcrypt and password. So it will create random data. But if you want to use this factory with Cedar, so how can we use this? So how Cedar and factory work together? So you need to go in your user cedar.php file, and then you have to write this user factory count and this code. This code will generate 50 record into your user table. If you want 100 record, so you need to replace 50 to 100. And if you want 2000, so you have to write 1000 here. So it will create whatever record, whatever number of record you want. So you have to write here. Okay. And then you have to run a command called php artisan db seed. So this command will create 50 records in your user table. So you can see this is very helpful. So if you are in a staging environment and you want to test your application, so it is very helpful. You can create 50, 100, 200, whatever record you want. So you can generate and you can test your application. So the final is Cedar is just a trigger point and factory is data generator. So with the help of factory, you can generate large amount of data. So now it's time to see all these things in our VS Code practically. So let's go in VS Code. So this is our application task manager. So previously we have created API resource. So now in this video, I am going to create first of all Cedar. I will show you in our database. You can see in user table, there is no record this time. So there is only one record is called nitish@gmail.com. So with the help of Cedar and factory, we will generate the multiple records. So let's go. We'll create first of all a Cedar php artisan make Cedar user Cedar. So this command will create a Cedar file inside the database Cedar. So now let's go. We will check the file inside the database. So where is my database folder? The database folder is here, and you can go. You can check this Cedar folder inside this. This file is created with the help of this command. Okay. So if you want to create a single record, so I will show you how to create record with the help of Cedar. So let's go. So we need to write the code. So insert the record, create, and inside this, I'm just going to write name. Suppose I'm going to generate a data for admin. So admin and email, admin@gmail.com. Okay. And next will be password. No, model is user. So now our code is correct. Now I'm going to run the Cedar command. So php artisan db seed class equal to user Cedar. So when I am going to hit this, so you can see here a record will be inserted. So let's go and hit this. So the command is successfully executed. So now I am going to check this. So now you can see the name and email is inserted into our database. But it's okay. You can insert the data. But there is one problem in Cedar. If you want to insert the second record, so you have to write this with the help of create. We can create only one record. So if you want to create another record, so you need to do something like this. Okay. Okay. So this will create two record. You can see there is two records. Again, if you want to insert three records, so every time you need to change this admin in this type of record. So it's also a time taking process. So that's why we need to create a factory for this, and that will automatically generate the records. And now I am going to generate a factory for this. So let's go. So need to write PHP artisan make factory user factory, and after that you need to write the model name. So model name is user. So if you want to create a factory for any particular, so you need to write here. So I'm just going to hit this, and when this command is executed, so there will be a create a factories. So just going to hit enter. Okay, so I think this is already we have created in my project, so no problem. Just going to this factory, user factory. But if you have not created this, so you need to write this command. Okay, so this will create a random data. So you can see inside the definition already there is a fake name, fake unique safe email, and verified email is now, a static password is there, and remember token is also there. So if you do not need this remember token and email verified ad, so you can remove this, but let it be there, no problem. So what we will write inside this header, you need to write here user factory, and then I'm going to write here count, and count will be, I'm just going to only 10 record and create. So it will insert 10 record into our database. So when I'm going to hit this, it's running. So I think this time everything is correct and it will insert 10 records. So go to database and take this. So you can see it's generated. So it's generated 10 records. You can see 13 records is there. Total record is 13. So now it's working perfectly. So if you are working in your local, so you need to check this or this one also, database seeder also, because internally this is calling database seeder. So if you want to insert multiple records, so you need to call this user seeder class inside this database seeder.php. So now you can see this is why seeder and factory are essential in our professional Laravel project, because if you want to insert large amount of data, so you need to use factory, and if you want to insert 1 or 2 or 3 records, so you can use seeder. Okay, and with the help of seeder and factory both, if you're combining both, so you can create large amount of data. So now it's clear, seeder is for fixed or required data and factory is for fake bulk data. Okay, so now what you understand how to seed your database, your API is ready with data. In the next video, you will learn Laravel Get REST API. So where we will fetch the data from the database and how to send it back to user. So if you like this video, so please hit the like button and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get latest updated video from my YouTube channel, and comment if you have any question. See you in next episode. Till then, take care. Bye. If I tell you that most Laravel developers don't know the correct way to build a REST API. So in this video, I will show you how to create a real world Laravel GET API using migration, model, seeder, factory and API resource without resource API. No theory, only practical example. We will fetch data from task table and seed dummy data and return a clean JSON response. So by end of this video, you will clearly understand with real example, migration and model for task table. So in previous video, we have covered this factory and seeder, dummy data, factory and seeder also we have covered, but not for task table. We have created for user table. So migration and model and factory and seeder you can see from my previous video from my playlist. The link is given in description. Two types of API, normal API, normal GET API and resource API also. And then we are going to fetch the data from DB and return the data JSON response, and all the things we will going to write live in VS Code. In the last, we will check this GET API in browser also and Postman also. Now implement this practically. Let's go to VS Code and create a seeder and create a factory for task table.
To create a seeder and factory, we will use cmd php partition make factory task factory, and the model name will be model equal to task. Some spelling mistake. Factory spelling is wrong, so we need to correct this. And now this command will create a factory. So you can see inside the factories, task factory is created. So inside the database, factory, task factory. And now I am going to create a seeder. So PHP artisan make seeder task seeder. So you can see task seeder is also created inside database seeder. So you can see task seeder is created, and then we need to include this in database seeder. Previously it was there is one user seeder only, so that's why it's not inside the array. But if you have multiple seeder, so you can write it inside the array, and inside this array task seeder class. Okay, and now inside this task factory we need to write the code. So you can see in table also there is user ID, title, description, completed at, created at. So if you want to do not want to write, so just copy this title and description, title, description, and completed at. So you can write here dollar this faker boolean, and you can also insert user ID also. We need to run artisan php artisan db seed. Okay, I'm just going to hit the enter. Seeding database is starting. Done. So I think there is no data, there is some error. We need to fix that. As you can see, the method call to undefined method in the factory. So this method is incorrect. Sentence. So it should be title will be sentence and single line, and description will be paragraph. In model also, task also, we need to add this task also. So use as factory, add this as factory. We have fixed the error. I am going to run the db seed. So now everything is okay. So in 10 records will be inserted into our database. Let's check. So you can see 10 records is there into our database. Go to the api.php. So inside the API, we will use Sanctum also or without Sanctum also. So first of all, for resource controller, we do not need any another API. We need to just going to task controller, inside task controller, and this one index. So this index will call this API. Okay. So we want all the task from the task table. So write the query task all. Okay, and so we need to add the task model also in the header user API tasks. So it will fetch all the data from the user, and I am going to run my server php artisan serve. So when I am going to click on this, so it will create it will open in my browser. So in the browser
I'm going to hit API tasks. And when I'm going to hit this, so you can see the record is coming. ID1, user ID1, all the record is coming in JSON format from our this database. If you want to run this in our Postman, so I'm just going to open my Postman. So in Postman also, I am hitting this same API. So you can see in a Postman also the data is coming. Okay. So this currently we are calling API task with the resource controller. If you want to use this without any resource controller, so you can also do that also. So just I'm going to write class get task, and inside that in the task controller. So now the API is different. I've just changed this. So in browser, I'm just going to check first of all. So you can see in browser also it's coming. And if I going to Postman need to change this name, route name. So this is coming. We have checked that the API in Postman and browser both. We have used the API with the help of API resources API, and without API resources. Use the authentication, write this API inside the, and you have to remove from this. In the Postman, you need to add inside authorization bearer token. So before calling this API, we need to call the login API, and you will get the token, and from there we need to copy the token and select this bearer token and paste this token. Then you have to send this. So if you are using API authentication, one more thing I want to discuss. So if you want to change this API response, so first of all, we need to write here message, and inside the message, and after that a status, we need a status. So a status will be 200 because the we are getting successfully response from the API. Okay, and the data will be, so this is the perfect format of JSON response. So you need to check this. Okay, so it may be creating error because we have write inside this. So I'm just going to check this. So not get task, it only task. So you can see this is the perfect format of sending response. So you can see in message task is successfully, a status is also there, or inside the task we are getting all the array value. Postman, it's giving error because previously it was inside the. So now you can see the format is correct. So in this video, we have covered migration, model, seeder, factory, and I have created API with the help of resource API and without resource. I have tested the API in browser also and Postman also. Today we have covered all the topic which I have promised to you. So in the next video, we will going to see Laravel Post API with the Sanctum Authentication, and in coming videos we are going to cover pagination, search and delete, update all API. So stay tuned on my channel. So if this video is helpful for you, so please like this video, subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon to get latest updated video from my YouTube channel Start Coding Class. Thanks for watching this video. We will meet in next video. Most of the beginner can create Gate API, but Post API is where everyone get confused. So let me show you the correct way. So in this video, I will create a Laravel Post REST API example step by step. This API will accept data, validate it and store it into the database and return a proper JSON response with the error validation also. So just like a real production API. So by end of this video, you will know how to create
route. We will create a route, normal route and resource API route also, and route check with and without Sanctum Authentication. Okay, and write code for post API with validation and error handling. Then we are going to Postman and we will test the API, and after that we will check in database the data is inserted or not. So let's go in VS Code. This is my API.php route file. So normally we are using resource source API is just if you creating any CRUD application. So only one line API will work for all create, insert, update, delete. So it's a very good practice. Without resource API, you need to write approx 4-5 APIs. So first of all, we need to create a function in our task controller, and here there is a function is store. So in this function, I am going to write the code for insert data into database. First of all, we will write the code inside try and catch. Just write this is post API, okay, and inside catch you need to write exception e, okay. So exception, use exception. We will write the validation and all the things, but before that we need to check this. So before going to Postman, we need to start our server PHP artisan serve. So our API will be API route will be task and method will be post. Okay, let's go in Postman, and Postman I am just going to select the method is post and the API will be task. If you are going to database, so database you can see there is field username, user ID, title, description, and completed is boolean value 0 and 1. Inside the body we need to select the JSON, and inside this user ID, user underscore ID is suppose 3, and title should be like test title, and next will be description. This is test title description. Okay, so now I'm going to hit this API, so it will return this. This is post API. Okay, or you can write here return also. Return is also okay. Just going to send this. So as you can see, this is post API. So my API is working perfectly. First of all, we need to validate the data. User ID, title, and description need to validate. For validation, request validate, and inside the validation, I'm just going to create an array for all these fields. A user ID, user underscore ID, and it will be required, and then title because it's an array. So it will be in. It is also required, and description is also required, and completed it also required, and its boolean value. Okay, so now my validation point is completed. I am going to create a variable, and the table is task create data, validate data, and I am going to pass this value. So what will this going to do? If there is any validation error, so it will throw the error. Otherwise, it will insert the data into our database because all the fields are here: user ID, title, description, and completed. So now I'm just going to create a response. So if the value is stored, so what will I show? Okay, response JSON, it will be success, then it will return true, and then next I'm going to send some message, task created successfully, and next data. Sorry, it should be task $task, and we can send status is 201. Okay, but if in the case if the data is not inserted and getting some error, then this block will run turn response, and inside JSON success, inside success it will be false, and message something went wrong.
and next will be error. Whatever the error is there, so you can easily track that error. Inside the exception, there is a function called get message, get message. So it will send the error message. So this error will be 500. Okay. So I'm just sending the code also. Okay. So my API is now ready. Okay. So my server is started, and when I'm going to hit this, so it will, if everything is okay, so data will be inserted. If there is some problem, so we will get error message. Okay. So I am getting error message because success, false, error, something went wrong. Error is the complete field is required. Okay. So in data, in our this body, we need to insert completed also. Completed, inside completed, I'm going to send boolean value true or false. So now, okay, and now I'm going to click on send. So now everything is correct. So you can see status true, task created, and data. This data is inserted into our database. So let's go. Need to check in database. So when I'm going to database, you can see there is this time there is only 10 total 10 record. When I'm going to refresh it, it will be 11 record. Now record is 11, and the data which whatever we have inserted is text title, this text title description, and you can see we have inserted data into our database. So in this video, we have covered a route with the help of resource route. I have stored API, post API code, validation and insertion, and success response and error response also. I have checked the API with resource. Now I am going to check normal API. So I'm going to write 8 task. Okay. And I'm going to call that function store. Task inside task controller, you can see it's a store function. Third will be post. Okay, and this API will changed. So in postman, sorry, 8 task, and I'm going to change the data. It will be 6 test title to description. Okay, so when I'm going to hit this, so you can see the data is inserted into our table. Now the record is 12, and this data is inserted. Okay, without Sanctum authentication. So I'm going to show you with the Sanctum authentication. So for the Sanctum authentication, I'm just going to paste this API inside this middleware auth Sanctum. So now if you are going to hit this API, you will get the error message. So you do not know what is Sanctum authentication, how do we configure that? So in previous video we have already covered. So just go and check out. So you can see the error is coming. So this error is coming due to we have not added any bearer token inside the authorization. So I am going to register one user. Name will be test, and the email ID will be @gmail.com, and password will be 12346. So I'm just going to hit this. So this user will be registered. Now I'm going to log in this user. So user is test@gmail.com and password is 1234. So here we will get a token. Okay, so you can see I have there is a token in response. So you need to copy this token in authorization. You need to select the bearer token, or inside this paste that token. Then we will get permission to access this aid task API. So now you can see task is created successfully. You can see, and if you this is without resource controller, and if you want to use this API with this task is a normal API without resource controller, and if you want to hit this API resource controller API, so you need to change only API name is tasks. Okay, and you need to send data, some different data. Okay, so data will be title 3, and okay, and now hit this. Okay, so you can see data is inserted successfully. And now we will check in database. In database task table, there is 12 record. So one is get and post. So two records will be inserted. So it's be 14. Okay, the last time we have inserted turtle 3, and this record 2 times we have inserted with the same user. Everything is working fine. We have covered with and without resource controller, with and without Sanctum Authentication, and created the code for store data post API for post API, and also validation we have covered, and error handling also we have covered. So everything we have achieved, which I have promised to you in the starting of this video. So now you know how to create a Laravel post REST API correctly. In the next video, we will build a Laravel put REST API example to update data. So if this video is helpful for you, so please like this video. If you have any problem, then comment and also subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to get latest updated video. Thanks for watching this video. We will meet in next video. Imagine you already built your get and post API, but now you need to update existing data. So how do you safely update a record? How do you validate data? How do you return proper JSON response? And what if the record does not exist? So in this video, we are building a professional put REST API in Laravel with validation and proper error handling. This is the 8th video of this Laravel REST API series. So till now, we have covered Laravel REST API with Sanctum Setup and Login Register Logout API with Sanctum Authentication, Migration Model, Resource Controller, Laravel Database Seeder and Factory, and Get REST API and Post REST API. So if you have not watched this video, so go to my playlist and just watch this, and you will get the link in I button and description also. What we are going to cover in this video. So in this video, we will know what is put method, and we will create a route for normal route also and resource API route also. We will check the API with and without Sanctum Authentication and write the code for put API with validation and error handling, and then we will going to test the API in Postman. We will check the data in database also. So first of all, if we are talking about the put method is used for updating existing data when we are just passing the RD in URL. So this follow the REST conversation. So if I talking about the route structure for put API, so this is something like this. So we will see all the things in VS Code. So in the previous video, we have successfully completed the post API, everything route, validation, and error handling, and everything I have completed. So now, first we are going to check this resource API. Let's go in our task controller. So in task controller, you can see there is a update method. So inside the update method, we are going to work on it. So first of all, I am going to write try and catch with the exception. And inside this block, success record, if the data is successfully inserted, so inside the try, and if I getting any error, so it will be inside the catch. Okay, I'm just copy this and this error message also. We will use the same input. So I'm just going to copy this. First of all, we are just going to check the data. So for the validation request, inside request, there is a validate. Inside this, we are going to set the rule for title and description. Okay. And description also required. Okay. So a user ID, title, description completed. So all these fields is required. So now I am going to update the data. Before this validation, first of all, we need to check this task is available. Find, and whatever the ID is sent from the postman, so it will check the task is found or not. Okay. So I am just going to write a condition. If condition $task. If the task is not available, not $task, then I am going to send this response. Going to send in JSON. Okay. Insert this JSON. We are going to pass the message body. Just a status. A status will be false, and message will be no record found. No record found. status code. Okay, we will check this. Suppose in our database 1 to 10 record. So if I am going to hit this with 11, okay, so you can see this ID 11 is not in our database. So message is no record found. Write the code for update. To update the data, update task all. Put this line after this validation. Okay, validate data. Dollar validate data. Okay, task data status will be 200. If any error is coming, so then it will be going to inside the catch block. This message will be changed, updated, not created. This message will be task updated successfully. Okay, so in update user ID, I'm not going to update. So I'm going to remove this part from body also. Okay, so now the data is updated because it's coming true. Okay, so let's go in database and check this. So you can see the data is updated successfully. If I am not sending title, so what will the error message is coming? So you can see title field is required. Validation also working perfectly. But now I am going to show you how to update the data without the resource API. I have just created one API, update a task, and this function I am going to call this function, the same function update. So now the API is something like this: route put, method is put, and update task and ID. I am going to send this, and this function will call. So let's go in Postman. Okay, I'm going to change the ID. Okay, and when I'm going to hit this, so it will update the data. Okay, so data is updated. So in our database, I am going to refresh it. So this data will be changed. So you can see this data is changed. Okay, you can see we have covered API. We have updated the data with the API resource API and also without resource API in normal way. So the both the way is not using Sanctum Authentication. How we will going to update the data with the Sanctum Authentication. Now I am going to check this. So when you are going to check this, we need in authorization we need bearer token, but if there is no bearer token, so you can't access this API. So first of all, I am going to hit this API without the bearer token. So you can see it is throwing error. We have to do only we need to hit the login API. First of all, we need to log in, then we can access this APIs. So this is security purpose. So if you don't know the Sanctum Authentication, so in previous video I have explained everything in detail. And send, click on send. So it will generate a token. So you can see, so copy this token and use this token inside bearer token. And now if I am going to hit this, so it will work perfectly. Okay, you can see task updated successfully. Okay, if you want to check anything else, so can change the ID 3 and title is 3 and description also going to change this. Now hit this API. So you can see a task updated successfully. And when I am going to database, so in database also you can see the this is updated successfully. And if you want to check, this is normal API. So if you want to check the resource API, so only you need to change this tasks. Okay, and now I am going to change this for and send. Click on send. So the API is also updated the data for what we have done today. We have created API, okay, and then inside this update function in task controller, first of all, we are just find the task with the ID if the any record is found or not. If the no record is found, so we will show the error message. If the record is found, then we will validate the record, title, description completed. So you can set multiple things if you want to string data, title, if you want to numeric value. So you can set according to your requirement, you can set the validation. If the everything is correct, then we are going to update the data, whatever the response is coming true or false. So we are just going to send this inside this success message. Task is updated successfully. If there is any problem during the data updation, so it will show in this catch block. In the production APIs, never blindly trust requested data, always validate and always handle missing records also. So in the next video, we will delete record properly using REST API standards and handle. And so in the next video, we will delete record properly using REST API standard. If this video is helpful for you, so please like this video. And if you have any problem, then comment, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get latest updated from my YouTube channel. Most of the developers write delete API in a wrong way. No validation, no error handling, no proper status code. So today I will show you how to build production ready delete REST API in Laravel step by step. Before going to start coding in VS Code, I will show you which topic I have already covered in this series. So in this series, I have covered Laravel REST API, Sanctum setup, Sanctum authentication setup, login, register and logout API with Sanctum authentication, migration and models, resource controller, Laravel database seeder and factory, and Laravel get REST API, post REST API, and put REST API. And this is our 9th video, Laravel delete REST API. And the coming video, we will cover all the advanced topic like pagination, search, and role, assign, all the models. So let's go in VS Code. We will see this is our api.php where I'm going to define the API, and this is our controller. So inside this destroy method, we will going to start our coding part. So first of all, here I am going to use the delete method with the help of resource API. So when we are going to do the task, just select this method, delete method. First of all, we need to check the ID is exist in our table or not. So my table is this is my task table. So we are going to delete the record on the basis of ID. First of all, find the record on the basis of ID. Inside this $task, our model name is task, and inside the find function, I am passing $ID. Okay, so $ID, this line of code will find the record inside the database. I am going to show you in the normal basic delete code, and after that I will go in advanced also. So basically I will check the task is existing or not. So the task, if the task is not exist, then I am going to show a return error message. Any record is not found in database, so we will show task is not found, something like that. I'm going to pass some status to message. Message is task, or you can say no record found. Okay, and inside this I'm just going to define 404 response. The spelling mistake. I'm just going to check our API. So let's go. The API is task, method is delete, and this 555 ID is not available in this table. You can say 1 to 10 only ID is available. So let's go check. Okay, so you can see no record on. Okay, my code is running perfectly. Now the next step is, if the task is on, then what we have to do? We have to do inside this task model, there is a method called delete. So we will call the method delete. It will delete the record, whatever ID you have passed, that matching ID record is deleted. Okay. Return a message, response, and JSON. Inside the JSON, I am going to take one status true, and second is message task deleted successfully. Now status code is 200 because our task is successfully done. So let's check this also. In my table, the ID is 1. So I'm going to pass this ID 1. Okay. So you can see task deleted successfully. So when I'm going to refresh the table, so one ID is removed. So I can see one ID is removed from our database table. Okay. So this is the simple way. This is the basic structure to delete the data. But if you want to use the try and catch and exception, so this is not the correct way. So I'm just going to comment this. And now I'm going to show you the advance with try and catch. We need to create a try and we need to create a catch. Okay. And inside the catch, exception. Okay. So whatever we are doing, task is successful, then I will write the code in try. But if there is any problem, so we will show the error message. Okay. So first of all, we need to validate the ID. So in the previous, you can see there is no validation. Okay. So I'm just going to validate the ID. So how we validate the ID? $validate equal to, I'm going to use validator. And inside this, I'm just going to ID, and ID should be $ID. And this ID, I'm going to set the rule also. So this ID will be required and it should be integer, and it should be exist in task table, task, and the field will be ID. So we are just going to check. So this data is exist in task table or not. You can see validator giving error. So we need to add this in our header section. And validator. Okay. So now the error is gone. So if the validation is failed, so in that condition, I am going to pass the message. Validate is fails, then pass the message. This will be something like this. So I'm just going to modify it. Error message will be 422. Okay. Validate method already have in function errors. We can use this in the status. I'm going to send the false. So let's check this. If the validation is failed, then what we are getting in response. So just go in Postman, and already one record is deleted. What I am getting. Okay, the ID is, you can see a status false, and the ID selected is invalid. Means ID is not available. Okay, so it's working. So we have checked validation. If the validation error is there, so this will throw this error. Otherwise, I am just going to check the $task equal to task and find or fate. So I'm going to check this. The ID is found or not. Okay, and if the ID is found, task and delete. Okay, so if the ID is not found, so then this error message will come. If the ID is found, then I'm going to delete this task and we will return a success message. So this same message, I'm going to paste this task is deleted successfully. But if there is any problem, so in that case, we are going to return response JSON, going to set a status. Status will be false. Okay, and message will be something went wrong. Okay, inside the error, I'm showing the whatever the error message, and there should be a semicolon. So now everything is perfect. So let's go and check one more time. So it's already, if the ID is not available, okay. If I sending suppose this ID, so it the same error message will come. If suppose I am going to send this, so this will display another message like ID field must be integer, because we have already defined these things. Now I am going to check if the ID is 2, so it will delete the ID 2. Okay, so you can see the task is deleted, and when I'm going to refresh it, so the task is deleted. So this time we are using resource API. Now I'm going to without resource API, you can say normal API. So when I'm going to normal API, so this is delete, the route name is this, and when I'm going to hit this, so it will show error message. Okay, and when I'm going to delete the record ID 3, so it will record deleted, third record is deleted. You can see third record is deleted. So all these things is happening without the any authentication and without the Sanctum authentication. So if I am going to use the Sanctum authentication, so we have to provide the bearer token. So for bearer token, we need to hit the login API. When I am going to hit this login API, we will get the token from the login API. Okay, copy this part. So again, I'm going to send this. Okay, so you can see the error message is the field is selected ID is invalid. Okay, so it's correct. So when I am going to set the bearer token in authorization section, so it's working. So I'm going to delete this one. The ID4 is deleted. So I am calling this API. I'm not calling the resource API. This is a normal API. So if I am going to check the resource API, so API will be tasks and ID will be 4 not, because 4 is already deleted. So now I'm going to check the 5. So when I'm going to hit the 5, so it will deleted 5th record 5. So let's refresh this. Okay, so 5 is deleted. We have covered today delete API with resource API, and without the resource without Sanctum authentication, and with the Sanctum authentication, a production ready also, and basic API also. So in next video, I am going to cover the Laravel REST API pagination. So it's very important part. Please must watch the next video also. And if this video is helpful for you, so please like this video and please subscribe this channel. Hit the bell icon to get latest updated video from my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching this video.
Is your API returning 10,000 record at once? Stop crashing your frontend. Let's fix it using Laravel Pagination. So if your Laravel API doesn't use Pagination, you are killing your performance. So we have already built get, post, put, delete API. So now it's time to make them production ready with Pagination. So we have already covered Laravel and Sanctum setup and authentication, login, register and logout API, migration models and resource controller, Cedar factory, and get, post, put, delete REST API. So now in this video we are going to see the how the pagination is work. So first of all, we need to know what is pagination. Pagination is just like a break large data into a smaller chunk, a smaller pages. We have a page. We have fetched the data from database. Suppose we have 10 records. So it may be 10,000 or 12,000. So all the data in same page. So we have to divide the part wise data. So in first page, it will be like 1 to 4 records. Suppose you are showing 4 records in first page, and the pagination is just like this. There is a button previous, next, and mid of this 1, 2, and 3. So you have, suppose you have 10 records. So it will be in 3 page. First page 1 to 4, then it will be 5, 6, 7, 8, and then third page 9, 10. So something like this. In second page 5 to 8, and third page is something like this 9 to 10. So this will reduce the load of database and it looks better your web page also. Laravel provide us, there has many types of pagination. So the first method is paginate, second is simple paginate, and third is cursor paginate. Okay, so if I talking about paginate, so it is something like this $user, and inside the user model we will use paginate, or inside this bracket how much record you want. If you write 10, so it will show you 10 records. If you write 5 here, so it will give you 5 records. Okay, so if I talking about simple paginate, so it is something like that. On the place of paginate, it's you have to write simple paginate, and inside the bracket in parameter you have to send number of records. And if I talking about the cursor paginate, so it is like this: order by id and cursor paginate and the number of record. Okay, in paginate is we will show the record like 1 2 3, previous button, next button, and the page number. So everything you will get in this paginate method. Okay, mostly in most of the website we are using paginate because it gives you all the information regarding pagination. If you want previous, next, page number, or everything it gives you. This paginate is, you can create a structure like this: previous, next, and page number. Okay, so if I talking about simple paginate, so simple paginate, in this three pagination method, simple paginate is the fastest. So it's only show you next and previous link only. There is no page number. Okay, so there is no total count, so it is very faster, and it gives the database load is also very less. Okay, so if you do not require 1 2 3 4 5 something like page, so this is the best for pagination. So it will show like something like this: previous and next. Okay, so if I talking about the cursor pagination, if you have 10,000 record, 1 lakh data, then this cursor paginate is very helpful. Some website you have seen when you are scrolling, so content is just loading. Best for APIs, and it's based for infinite scrolling. If your website is something like that, you will scroll infinite times, so it is good for that. I will show you this first method, paginate, in our VS Code with the practical code. If you want the deeply video on other simple paginate and cursor paginate, so just comment out, I will create a video for that also. So let's go in VS Code. So in previous videos you have seen we have faced the data from this. Inside task controller there is a function called index. So you can see 110. So if I going to down, so you can see, so all the data is faced. So it's not a good practice. So if you have, suppose you have 1 lakh data, so it will be very slower for your site. So the pagination improve your performance of your site. So what we will do, only write here paginate, and we will write record number here. So when I going to write here 10, suppose, so it will show only 10 record with the previous, next, and page number. Okay, so now I'm going to hit this URL. So you can see in data there is ID is 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13, and 15. So from the 5 to 15, 10 records is there, and after that you can see first page URL, first page, and last page, and links also there. So this one is for next, and this is total 11 page we have. Okay, so when I going to change this 50 record, when I am going to refresh it, so you can see in the last, in pagination section, so you can see last record is 55, because in database we have the ID is started after 5, so the last record will be 55. 5 plus 50, 55. Okay, and then it is showing page number is 1, page number is 2. Okay, page number is 3, and then it is showing next page. So there is only approx 105 record. That's why it's giving in first page to 50, second page 50 to 100, and next after 100 it will show above than 100. So that's why it's showing 3 page. Okay, in this pagination, if you want to create a separate customized data for pagination, so you can write here pagination
So inside this pagination, we are going to define a customized pagination. So if you want current page, so you can write current page, and inside this you have an variable, you have an object of this pagination. So just write this $task and current page. Okay. When I'm going to refresh it, so you can see there is a different field is there. You can see pagination. So current page is 1. Okay. Current page and last page and last page. So again refresh it. So you can see there is one last page. Last page is 3. Okay. So the next one is, so if you want per page, so it will show you task per page, and you can also write here total also. So it will give you everything. So you can see current page is 1, last page is 3, per page record 50 record, and total is 105. It gives you by default everything, but if you want to customize, you do not want to need all these things, so you can customize this pagination. So if you want to remove this, you have to write here, you have sent the task. Inside the task, you only send the item. You only send items. Okay. So now when I'm going to hit this, so all these unnecessary things will removed. Okay. So let's refresh this. So you can see the only data is coming there. Nothing is coming. Only data is coming, and our customized pagination value is coming. And you can also handle the per page dynamically also. So when we are going to pass this value here, per page, suppose you want 10. Okay. So you need to write here 10, and you will you can get the per page value from here. So you can write request, or inside the request get. Inside the get, you need to pass that per page value, and this will you can paste it, this one, inside this, inside the paginate parameter, and now you can handle from your API. So when I am going to click on 10, so it will only return 10 record. So now you can see total page is 10 and last page is 11. You can see it only turning the 10 records only. So ID is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15. So it's only recording 10. If you want 5, so you can just write 5. You do not need to go to in code and then you have to write here 5. So this is not a good practice. This is bad practice. So when I'm going to click on this, per page is equal to 5. So you can see now the record is starting from 6 to 10, and all your customize current page, last page, per page, and total record is there. So now I think we have covered everything regarding the pagination. So the best practice is never return all data, always use pagination in production. So in next video, we will combine this pagination with search and filter. So don't miss the next video, and we will use this pagination, search and filter with the Sanctum Authentication protection. So thanks for watching this video. If this video is helpful for you, so please like this video, subscribe this channel, and hit bell icon to get updated video from my channel. Most Laravel developers build search and filter the wrong way with messy conditions and duplicate queries. So in this video, I will show you a clean, scalable way to build dynamic search filtering in your Laravel REST API. This is the approach you should use in your real project. As you can see in previous video, we have already discussed about pagination. So let me show you. Previous API is working with pagination, and our database is something like this. We are just going to create a task API. So in table, user ID, title, description completed. In Postman, you can see we have just passed the number of records per page, 5 records. All the data is coming. Let's go in VS Code and we will start to write the code for search and filter. So first of all, we will create a base query. So for this task query, and then I'm just going to write the condition. Okay. So inside the if condition, if the request inside the request, we will get the search request. If you want to search anything, for this we need to pass the request dollar request. Going to comment this pagination. So when we have request search, okay, so in that condition we are just going to write the query. The query, inside the query we will write the where condition, and where condition we will write title, and it will be like, and we will use percent dot dollar request, whatever the value we are getting in search, and dot, and inside the single quotes, if there is some value in search, suppose my name is Nitish, so if the Nitish is found in title, in the mid of the title, or starting of title, or end of title, so this query will search every places. So this task query is not fetch the data yet. So this query is just creating a query builder instance. It is not running any SQL query. Without search, it will return all task. Okay, and with search, it will return whatever the word you want to search in title. So it will return that. So next we are going to, we will check the completed status also. Here I am going to write a condition again for this one. Completed are also. So request completed, and it not equal to null. Okay, and inside this query where completed dollar request completed. Okay, here in this code I want to explain you one thing. I have write not equal to null. So because in database completed can be 0 or 1. So in 0 is false, but we still want filter when completed is 0. That's why I have write the condition not equal to null. Okay, our query, our filter and search is ready. So now I am going to store this into a task equal to dollar query to add this paginate and dollar per page. So now the query is complete. So at the position when we are going to write paginate, only at the paginate Laravel actually execute the SQL query. When we are going to write this line of code, so then the SQL query is execute. So let's go in Postman and we will going to test this. So here remove this per page. I'm just going to write here search, and inside this search write to database. Suppose we have table like Alice. Okay, going to search in title Alice is there or not. In Postman I'm just going to paste this, to hit this, so it will search the record Alice. You can see there is lots of record is there with the same name. We can use here per page also. Per page equal to 5. So you can see it will only show the 5 records. 1 record, 2 record, 3 record, 4 record, and 5 records. So it will only showing the 5 record. Okay, this is perfectly working. Now I am going to test the condition also. Completed equal to, if I going to click on completed 0, so it will show only completed 0, not 1. Okay, so it is showing only completed 0. Okay, and when I'm going to completed equal to 1, it will show the record completed equal to 1. So you can see completed 1 and the title containing Alice. So our search and filter is working perfectly. So now, so this is the traditional way, beginner friendly, multiple if condition you can write if you want to create a production ready. So it is not good for that. So it is only for beginner friendly and easy to debug. So if you want to write this code as a professional level, so now let me show you a cleaner and more professional way using Laravel when method. So I'm just going to comment this code. It's a traditional and beginner friendly. Okay, and I will show you the advanced level also. So with the help of when, we are just going to create this same thing in with the help of when task colon when. Inside this when method, I am just going to write a same request for search, request search, and inside this first parameter will be the search, whatever you want to search, and second is a callback function, and use request dollar request, so $q, where going to write the same thing inside this when. So just copy paste this. Okay, so the when method only execute the callback if the condition is true. The structure of when is first is condition, second is function. So if the condition true, then run a callback. If false, then skip. Okay, so with the comparison of first part, so in first part we wrote multiple if statement, and where we are just going to change this. Okay, so next I'm going to write the condition for this completed at also. Write the when condition, when the request completed, null, then function, and inside function use dollar request. So inside this, so again I am going to write this same condition inside this not query, it will be q. So in this part, you can say this is part 1 and this is part 2. So in part 1, we wrote multiple if statement where, and in this part, we are just going to chain everything in fluent and readable way. So this keeps the query builder chain very neat and clean. So you can see this is very messy if you have, suppose you have lots of conditions. So it is not good for production ready. In the last, I am just going to write paginate, and whatever you want dollar per page. So you can remove this and you can directly write here request. Okay, so now we are just going to check this is working fine or not. So again I'm going to hit this. So you can see it's running perfectly. So now let's check, change the completed equal to 1. So you can see all the record with completed equal to 1. I'm just going to change this in search, just going to search the remarked. Okay, so whatever the title, inside the title remark is there, so it will show there is only one record. Okay, you can search title, description, whatever you want. Suppose I'm going to search this Dina, so I'm just write this Dina and click on search. So you can see there is only one record with this name. Okay, so you can say this is the best way if you are creating the production ready API. So this is the best way. So if you are beginner, then you can try this. You want a production ready API, so this is the best way. So both the method are correct. There is no performance issue. Performance wise, both are same. But only can say first part is easier for beginner and second part is cleaner for large project. In first part, multiple if condition is there, but in second part, we have used the builder chaining method. It's depend on you what you want to. So if you are just starting, so you can start with this part 1. And if you are building a scalable API, so you can prefer this when method. Okay.
So congratulations, we have successfully completed the Laravel API series. And if you have watched every video and practiced the code, you now have the skill to build secure and scalable REST API using Laravel. So in this series, we have covered what is API, Laravel REST API with Sanctum setup and introduction, but and user login registration, Logout API with Sanctum Authentication, migration models and resource controller, Cedar Factory, and all the CRUD API like REST, POST, PUT, delete, everything. And also covered Laravel REST API with Pagination and Laravel REST API search and filter. So what we have promised to you in the starting of this video, so all the topics I have already covered. So keep practicing by creating your own project like blog API, e-commerce API, or a student management API. That's where real learning happening. So if this playlist helped you, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Start Coding Class. So it motivates me to create more free programming tutorials. So in the next playlist, we build a complete real world project using everything you have learned. So we will see you in the next series. Bye. Take care.